For many Anglo-Saxons, war was a way of life. During this time period, wars and skirmishes were all too common throughout Europe, and as a result, the Anglo-Saxons were a people geared for war. When compared to modern warfare, war was quite different during the times of the Anglo-Saxons. Before battle, the opposing sides would usually stand at a distance and verbally taunt each other until the other side attacked. This tactic was used to help control their fear prior to battle. However, sometimes it could be harmful.
My sword is bigger than yours!
Well, mine's more agile!
But does it have a name?
No.
At the Battle of Maldon in 991, an English commander who was boasting about his advantage was tricked by the Vikings into letting them cross the river before the battle, and the English were subsequently slaughtered. The Anglo-Saxons were also very attached to their gear. Their gear and weapons were more than just equipment, but symbols of their personal strength. Because of this, weapons are usually decorated with symbols and given menacing names, such as the sword Hrunting from Beowulf.
Done.
This is Hrunting!
Apart from swords, Anglo-Saxon warriors often used spears, javelins, and knives. Like their weapons, the Anglo-Saxons also decorated their armor and helmets with decorations holy to their various gods. For example, a group of Anglo-Saxon warriors called berserkers wore only the skins of beasts such as bears, wolves, or boars, and would smear themselves with a psychotropic mixture of herbs. They believed that this mixture would allow them to inherit the abilities of the animals whose skin they were wearing.
What's this? Is this boar?
No, it's actually badger.
After the battle was over, the warriors had to return to normal society. Anglo-Saxons didn't really have a standing army, but armies were formed by warriors who worked as farmers until a conflict arose.
You there! The Vikings are coming!
Come again?
I said the Vikings are coming! Are you deaf?
The Vikings again? But it was only the Battle of Maldon a week ago.
Indeed it was! Now go get your sword!
Rightio. Shall we go, then?
The Anglo-Saxons would memorialize their fallen warriors.
So Aethelgar's son emboldened them all, Godric to battle. Often he let spear, slaughter spear, speed to those Vikings. So among folk he went first, hewed and humbled, until he in battle fell.
Oh, he was such a good man.
Dang it, Garwolf, be a man!
I'm sorry.
Those who died facing their fate would be celebrated in song or poetry, but those who ran from battle were eulogized as cowards. Most Anglo-Saxon battle tactics were based around the shield wall, in which warriors would form a wall with their shields and press up against the enemy forces. Blows would be delivered over the shields into the heads, necks, or upper bodies of the enemy. After the initial charge and attacks, the shield wall would loosen up, allowing warriors to fight enemies individually instead of in one unit. To counter the Anglo-Saxon shield wall tactic, the Vikings responded by forming something known as the Swine Array. The Swine Array was a wedge-like formation that consisted of warriors grouped together. The wedge, in which the warriors formed, would charge and pierce through the enemy lines. Often, the strongest warriors would be placed at the edges of the wedge formation. Yet another Anglo-Saxon tactic, one that did not take place on the battleground, was peace-weaving. Peace-weaving was a method in which two kingdoms would form a stable relationship. One tribe would marry off women to their feuding tribe, thus creating peace amongst each other. These strong tactics and traditions helped forge the Anglo-Saxons into some of the fiercest warriors on the battlefield.
Understandably, present-day warfare is very different from the war culture of the Anglo-Saxons. However, there are also several similarities. Soldier uniforms are an obvious example of a difference between war today and Anglo-Saxon war. Today's US soldiers wear a camouflage-colored uniform, which is protected by Interceptor body armor. Interceptor body armor is a bullet-resistant vest that is used throughout the US Army. However, it does not necessarily guarantee full protection for the soldier, as certain bullets can penetrate it. US soldiers also sport military haircuts, which contrast to the long, free-flowing hairstyles of the Anglo-Saxon warriors. Anglo-Saxon warriors, on the other hand, often dressed in animal skins and chainmail. Chainmail was like the bulletproof vests of today. Chainmail, as well as the shield, served as the primary source of protection for Anglo-Saxon warriors. Consisting of several layers of small metal rings, chainmail provided very effective protection for the warrior's torso and required very accurate weapon blows to penetrate.
Garwolf, prepare for battle!
Oh, not again.
One similarity between both uniforms is the usage of combat helmets. The Anglo-Saxons were famous for their iron helmets, and today's soldiers use headgear made from highly compressed fibers. Anglo-Saxon weaponry, understandably so, differed greatly from today's. Warriors used swords, spears, javelins, and knives, all made out of metal. The Anglo-Saxons envied their weapons and adorned them with spiritual icons. Weapons, as of today, have changed dramatically, and the sword has been eliminated from warfare. Machine guns, grenades, and bombs are the weapons of destruction commonly used today. The creation of nuclear weapons, beginning in the 1900s, has called for more organization and strategy in modern warfare. For today's US soldiers, the return home can sometimes be challenging. It isn't uncommon for US soldiers to feel a sense of isolation and worthlessness. In recent years, the anxiety disorder, PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, has gained national attention. PTSD is a major cause for suicides, and apart from affecting today's soldiers, it is also found in many veterans from past wars. In fact, the United States Department of Veterans Affairs estimates that around 830,000 Vietnam War veterans have suffered through this disorder. Because Anglo-Saxon society revolved around war, soldiers were honored on their homecoming. Soldiers would celebrate victories in mead halls, such as Heorot from Beowulf. In these halls, soldiers would drink their favorite beverage, mead.
Your mead, sir.
Successful warriors were rewarded with wealth, including land and precious metals. Fallen warriors were also honored during their eulogies. Today's US soldiers are also rewarded for their services. Soldiers are paid a wage based on their rank and are often honored at sporting events. Memorial Day, as well as Veterans Day, is dedicated to American soldiers.
Good job, Private. Thank you, sir.
One notable difference between both war cultures is the use of women in modern warfare. It would be highly unthinkable that Anglo-Saxon women would partake in war. Although modern war culture has changed dramatically when compared to Anglo-Saxon war culture, there are definitely similarities between the two.
Who's that?
I'm Aethelgar! Where's my son?
Oh, sod off.
I don't always drink mead, but when I do, I prefer Heorots. Stay Anglo-Saxon, my friends.